Living intentionally requires clarity. And, clarity makes everything in your life easier, whether you are pursuing your career, whether you're deciding whether to get healthier or fitter, to pursue a certain skill set or education, or, to improve our relationships. You need to be clear on what to do. So the question is this: how do we gain clarity? One of the biggest challenges that people have generally is, having clarity on what they're supposed to be doing. So, when there's confusion, not knowing what to do causes people to be paralyzed in not being able to take action, not being able to move forward. So normally when people turn to Chinese astrology or metaphysics, is generally to gain clarity over what are the options they have, weighing the pros and cons or the consequences of their actions so that they know what to do. So if you're a party consultant or a practitioner of metaphysics, generally it serves the purpose of guiding someone on knowing what to do. So how do we gain clarity? To gain clarity over anything, we first have to have substantial distance. Distance is the key. Think about it, right? If we are in the problem, it's very hard to see which direction or where to go, right? Because we're in this state of confusion, right? To know where to go, to know which direction, to know our priorities, we gotta have substantial distance between, what we want to do or what the goal is from far, right? We got to see from far. So distance is what we need to achieve. Okay. So of course we could do this the conventional ways to go and figure out and mentally position yourself away from the problem to gain clarity. But you can also do that with metaphysics tools such as Qi. Okay, Qi is the mystical doors method. Basically, you plot a time, space, event, matter chart to look at the situation from outside in. That's called giving a distance. When you have some distance between yourself and the issue or the problem or the challenge that you're currently facing, that helps you gain clarity to see the options that are available. Okay, so of course, people always talk about, hey, getting clarity, you need to set your priorities straight. Well, that is true too, but you don't know, you can't commit to a priority if you don't know the pros and cons to or the decisions you're about to make. Okay, because people are fearful, right? And fear, makes you hazy. Fear makes you hazy, right? Fear creates that confusion. So when you're fearing, you don't know the outcome of a certain action, or you're not certain about certain action you're taking, you're not going to take that action because you're scared that it might create the results that you don't really like. Okay, so when we say we use metaphysics, generally is to map out the consequences, the potential consequences of a certain decision or a certain path that you're about to take. So now, of course, you say that means stuff is carved in stone. It's not carved in stone. It's not fate. It's to understand that energetically, vibrationally, what are the problems you can anticipate when you make certain decisions, and are you willing to embrace those problems along the way? So you have less fear when you know something, right? Or at least you get some form of anticipation of a potential issue that you might be facing, and then you could solve it or prevent it or minimize the consequences that are that may happen as a result of taking a certain path. That's the reason why we use metaphysics. Okay, we cannot predict exactly the outcome. It's not carved in stone because it's your decision of whether you want to do something or not do something. But fear makes you hazy. Okay, so that is the reason why we use metaphysics such as Qi or even Bazi to look at, it's like trying to get the map. If you're stuck in the jungle, you don't know which direction you're going, you got to have a map to say which direction to go so you can get out of that jungle. Okay, so that is one of the reasons we use metaphysics in this format. Okay, now of course some people say, yeah, but I'm really confused. I'm confused. They use these words, confused, right? But here's the thing: confusion is good in some ways. Okay, remember, everything is cause and effect. Yeah, if you are not confused, then you won't realize that you're actually in a situation that requires change. Think about it, right? You won't want to set a path towards finding clarity if you don't first begin with confusion. Confusion is the beginning of you looking for clarity. It's the thing. Being confused is surely better than those phonetically people who have a fixed mind of knowing that this is definitely the right answer, and then they keep going in the wrong direction, and if you keep climbing the ladder that's leading to the wrong wall, you're not going to get to the direction, the place that you want to get to. Okay, so having first feeling confusion is a state of knowing, okay, I don't really know which direction I'm in. It's like suddenly you're in the jungle, you lost your orientation. The first thing you want to know is, okay, so how do I find clues, right? I want to look at where the sun is rising, I want to climb the highest trees, I want to look for clues. So when you're confused, generally it's the beginning of you saying, okay, which direction should I go? Okay, so it's okay to be confused because that's the first step, right? So what you want to do from then on is to eliminate your excuses, because a lot of times people say, well, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough resources. But that first needs to go. If you want to gain clarity, you got to stop having these excuses, because right now, 2020 has been a year where people have a lot of time because people are stuck at home, and you have the longest breaks of working from home, stuff like that. And so time is not really an issue. Some people say, but I don't have the money to do the things I want to do, right? But if you think about it, it's not so much making the money, it's basically how we're going to spend it, right? When you have the money, let's say you have now unlimited resources, what would you first want to do? See, that's the thing, right? So that could actually help you understand, to gain clarity of what you want to do in the first place, okay? So it's not just the lack of time or lack of resources, really. It's basically sometimes people are just distracted because they're distracted by so many possible options or other small things that pull their attention, okay? Distractions are reduced by getting better at focusing your attention on something. Some people's the intentions are all over the place, right? So if you focus on one or two things, you probably will gain much better clarity in pursuing what you want to do, okay? And of course, studying your own destiny is very important. The reason why we look at our parts charts or study a Chiman chart is so that we look from outside in, we get that distance to see what are the options, what is the path ahead, what's the potential for certain paths that we need to take. But you gotta have some patience pursuing that path. The problem is you expect results overnight, right? To become great at something takes time, right? To gain clarity also takes some time. You gotta first gain that substantial distance, then you can gain clarity, okay? And of course, once you are able to focus on something, then you gotta set your priorities. That's the fourth stage. You can't set the priorities at the start when you don't really have distance between your issue, your challenge, and what you're capable of doing. Okay, so when you're looking at clarifying, setting your priorities, what you need to do is two things. Number one, eliminate stuff from your current calendar, right? Because a lot of times people just keep adding in, and if you keep adding in, there will be no space, eventually for important stuff. So the first step is to reduce maybe 30% of the things that are not really that helpful in your life, right? Reduce that, and then schedule important activities first. It's got to be either related to basically work or career or relationship and or health, these three main aspects, or maybe life improvement or mental improvement. But what gets scheduled gets done. If you put time in it, if it's important for you, you put time in it, right? It's like if you say your kids are important to you, but you don't give them time, then they're not important to you. Anything that is important to you, you will put time in it. So if you just study your calendar right now, you probably will know what is important for you because you have made time for it, right? So what would you make time for? That's how you schedule your important activities, okay? And I think one of the final things that you could do for yourself is generally spend some time observing your own self. Because if you don't study your parts, then the next best thing to do is journal the things that make you happy and journal the things that make you unhappy. What event caused you to be happy? What event caused you to be unhappy? If you just observe yourself from that perspective, you now understand what you need to do. You have clarity because you put distance between you and the issue. You now understand what can make you happy and do more of that. And what does make you happy and do less of that, okay? Or certain people, I don't know, energetically or whatever they do is just somehow not giving you the same vibes, and distance yourself, okay? So stuff that you could do. So remember, clarity drives action. Okay, when people don't take action, when people don't want to do something, it's because they lack clarity. So gain clarity, gain the distance, gain the clarity, and you start to take action. One of the main cause of procrastination is basically lack of clarity. Okay, so I hope this video help you at least gain some insights into how you could gain clarity. If you'd like to see more videos like this on metaphysics, go ahead and click on the subscribe button and hit the bell icon and give this video a thumbs like. And also put in the comment section below from the metaphysics perspective, what would you like to know, and I'll create a short video to answer that question.